the association is not going to be controlled by the pure interests of the intrinsic value of the association. But if we are going to work, for example, into improving education, and they work for the public administration, they are not going to want to change the, say, education policy for bullying in Finland that is excellent compared to the Basque Country, because they are not interested in changing the public interests. So there is a huge conflict of interest if these public employees are named as consuls. This is something that we have to really look after, because most of the associations are controlled by public interest. So if you want to work into improving small and medium companies, competitive advantages, education, health, security, they are always going to cut these changes. They are not interested in having a new idea that would increase the value. This applies not only to the consuls associations. We have a lot of interest in the Basque Country that are controlled by public interest. All the associations, you can go from Bilbao Athletic Football, you can go from Chamber of Commerce, the whole associations have to be audited for compliance and independency, that these planchas, these plates are independent. And this is very important into getting the targets. The digital agenda proposal of sending the candidates' proposals and previously asking the members if they have read them, like in elections, and making digital elections, this would increase very much in this coronavirus crisis the value of the associations. These general consuls have to really look at the conflicts of interest and the numbers they represent, because the individual's vote is very important in the future. In Bilbao, for example, we have a huge conflict of interest regarding the political issues, and of course there is also many governments that want to have control over what the association does and does not. This is a conflict of interest regarding the growth of the gross domestic product. We could increase the jobs, we can reduce the unemployment to a minimum expression, and we can improve the small and medium companies' competitive advantages. Finland is a first-class country with 100 years and has plenty of things, being so young that an older country like in Spain could learn, like reducing the 5 institutions implication in employment, in small and medium companies, in taxes, in fines, in competitive advantages, in security, in councils, in education, in bullying elimination. They have systems that are much newer, like New Zealand. That's why they are so efficient eliminating coronavirus. And this really we have to learn, because we are a very old country, Spain, and why not adapt the formulas that the young countries like 100 years old Finland have implemented for success? Why not? Why is it a problem? Like, I have done that in my company, which is over 100 years, and it really works very efficiently, like this video, making today communication transparent by having digital elections and proposals. It is very transparent. And the annual general meetings must be completely videoed worldwide, so that we know, citizens, what are these consuls doing to add value. Because perhaps my brain is short and little, and someone else has a better idea, that why not implement and circulate towards the areas of interest. This especially is very interesting, and unfortunately complicated in the Basque Country because there are before mentioned conflicts of interest for the political issues that it must be independent of the association. Articles, directors are old. We must have articles worldwide for all the associations of consuls, articles for all the associations of international maritime employers or associations of ship owners or whatever other associations. Spanish CEO, Confederación Española de Empresarios, then they must have the business persons, the associations, the same articles worldwide. This is very important because we can reduce them, make them more effective, and that is not really interesting. The interesting side is how do we value the targets, how we measure the targets, how we report transparently, like in this video, the targets and the achievements, and then how we can wait for some person that has a better idea to improve so that in our areas of interest, the unemployment is zero, the wages are high, and the business is growing above whatever levels the competitors are doing. These videos of 40 minutes really explain the statistical value of digital means. A lot of consuls told me in the past that there is no use of working like this, no adding value. My little point of view is to refute such argument. Why? Because I love debating and because 120 years of consular activity divided by 40 minutes of video now, then it is approximately 3 years for a minute. So then this really confirms the utility of these means in YouTube and digital tools getting targets. Once all these previous areas are solved, then we can improve the targets and the intrinsic value that we are generating. European Union today can produce 300 million tests, which at €6 per test every 15 days is peanuts regarding 34% we pay Social Security. Is it right that workers in Europe have availability for the test every 15 days and that the business can be running? Is it a competitive advantage? Can we do it now, today? That's something that the European Union must look at, because in this coronavirus crisis, perhaps the consular associations could have given some recommendations that, of course, are independent and without any binding obligations to anybody, just simply recommendations of what these brains that work for free have decided that would be interested to work at. And this is really the value of the associations, to do things correctly and not be influenced by the Basque Nationalist Party or the country's policies. No, independent association, which it can be done, and it is possible to add today this value to the countries that we represent. So if you do know a consul in Bilbao, tell him to read this video. I really very much appreciate the job they do. It has been an honor, and it is continuing to be an honor to work for our countries. And we have to unite to improve your family's well-being, mine, and the others around our neighborhoods. This information is probably very useful for the future associations of consuls, because we want to maximize the diplomatic work that we do. And then we have expressed all this to the Palace of Justice, subdelegation of the government, to all the different institutions, and really they are not interested because of the reasons I mentioned before. There is always a conflict of interest with all these different institutions, and this has to be stopped because also our own countries are really not interested, because we are such a little thing, and to avoiding diplomatic problems, it is a great concern for them, because they will need that whenever they have a problem and an issue. And so we are not really of interest and to create these conflicts of such a small association, but united worldwide, it could be a great area of interest, creating intrinsic value. So this is why I wanted to create this video, to demand that this is the proof that we are doing something positive, even in these coronavirus situations, the Consuls, of expressing what we are doing, what values we want to add, where we want to work. And this is the way that justice, for example, in Finland is 10%, no, sorry, in Spain is 10% efficient, in Finland is 95%. I tried to have a meeting between the main judges in Bilbao and Finland. The Finnish judges mentioned that prior to the meeting they wanted an agenda, obviously, digital agenda, in order to work for the improvement areas. And the judges here in Bilbao said that they were not interested but to go eating and have no real agenda. So this is the conflict of interest there is, which we have tried to improve for citizens the justice from 10% to 95% with no success. So you should know that we do try to do things. Same as the councils of Finland tried to meet EUDEL, the Basque councils, to also find improvement areas in the communication between both countries so that the humans have better service from the councils. And who knows, perhaps they get economies of scale, other areas that I am not an expert in that respect, but also the invitation of the Finnish embassy and the Finnish councils was declined by EUDEL, the Basque Association of Councils. You must know that these are the kind of conflicts that now today you are finding out. But we are not going to stop trying to improve the quality of the humans as honorary consuls. So then we will continue making these videos. I thank you very much for all this time, Sunday, 3rd of May 2020. And if you have any comments, I would appreciate to hear from them to see if we can improve in any areas. Thank you. Bye.